Thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. We hope your experience is fruitful. Please feel free to visit our website to find out how you can join our growing family. While we are loading your experience, please do us a quick favor and hit that like button from whichever platform you're watching or listening on. Also, share so others may enjoy as well. And we hope you would consider hitting that subscribe or follow button so you can check out more of our amazing content. All right, let's start the show.
Hey everybody, happy Friday, Junior. I am Nicole D. Vick. Welcome to Nicole D. Vick Live. I have a wonderful guest today, but before we get to that, every Thursday I go live. Even, sometimes I go live and y'all don't see me just because I don't be looking good or whatever. So I just, turn the camera off, but I go live and I discuss important topics, stuff that happens in my life, stuff that happens in y'all lives, stuff I see on television, but I'm bringing y'all stuff that's really important to our community. And when I say our, I'm talking about Black people because I'm Black, as you can tell, or in case you didn't know, I'm Black. Okay. I'm really excited to have you here. Last month, what had happened was, and you might remember from the previous episode of Nicole D. Vick Live, what had happened was somebody tried to get me. Somebody tried to get me for like $300. And I don't know what happened, but it was crazy and it was some shenanigans. And I was sharing this, of course, on my many platforms, Instagram, TikTok. I talked about it. And one of my friends was like, we probably should do something to help people make sure they, keep their money in their pockets and they're not scammed during the holiday season. We're getting ready to go into Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year, Kwanzaa, all the, wonderful holidays at the end of the year. And I want to make sure you do not get tangled up in some kind of scam. You trying to use your ATM card and oh no, it don't work. What happened? All your money gone. We don't want that to happen to you. So I got scammed. Somebody tried to get me for $300. The good news for me, it was before payday, so it wasn't $300 in. It wasn't $300 in there for them to take. So that's what got them kind of moted. And then the other thing that happened to me was my mom, she wanted to mail me this really pretty big giant Hallmark card and she had put a gift card in there. Do y'all know I got delivered an empty card? An empty envelope. It was nothing in the envelope. The post office dropped off an envelope, nothing inside. So all of those things kind of made me say, wait, I want to talk about this and help y'all because there's a lot of different scams. I get text messages. Hey, your Netflix account has been suspended. Click here, blah, blah, blah. I get emails. I get all kind of weird stuff. And so I just want to make sure y'all know what to do if something happens to you like that. And we're public health people. My guest is as well. How to avoid, how to prevent. And yes, $300. And I was like, y'all trying to play me? I said, hallelujah, y'all came at the end of the month when there wasn't no money in there because that would have hurt my feelings to be out of $300. Now, yes, the money is insured and they'll return it. But in that meantime, what if other bills are coming in and then overdraft and it just be a whole mess? We want to avoid that. And I want to make sure you know what to do. Okay. So I have a fabulous guest. I'm going to read her bio. Her name is Shantel Jefferson. Yay. Look her picture. Oh my God. Look at it. She looks so cute in that photo. So cute. Shantel has 20 years of experience in the financial service industry. She possesses an extensive amount of experience managing performance driven teams. She's skilled at coaching. So I think those coaching skills will come into play today, and developing team members, community outreach, and business improvements. She has a desire to coach and develop individuals to recognize their strengths and purpose to evolve as confident leaders in what she finds most fulfilling. She has her master's degree in public health. I said that she a public health person like me, with an emphasis of health education from Azusa Pacific University, and a Bachelor of Science degree in healthcare management from University of Phoenix. And y'all know I taught at University of Phoenix for a little while, actually more than a little while, it was 10 years. I'm saying my name. Shantel is passionate with cultivating meaningful relationships and aims to spread awareness to improve financial and health literacy within underserved communities. Shantel believes every person can achieve financial success and positive health outcomes when increasing their knowledge on these important issues. And so we're also going to touch on that intersection between financial wealth and health education and health outcomes too. So yes, come on, Shantel. Woo! Hey girl.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? And I'm really my $300 ain't gone, but
somebody said 300, right? That's a lot of money.
It is to be gone, to look in, and everybody has their little mobile phone app. Hold on, what? And let me tell you, before we get into the interview, this happened to me before. I think around 2018. And the crazy part too is the bank was trying to call me, but see, I'm one of them people, and I'm bad at this. Recognize the number. If it don't say Chantel's calling me or my daughter or whoever, I'm not answering it. Right. Girl, the bank was trying to call me. Hello. And I was like, who calling me? And I'm just looking at the phone ring, and then the next thing I know, 3 transactions. Right. I'm like, that ain't me. And I forgot how much they took that time. It might have been 3 transactions of $200 each. And I was like, oh no. And then I had to go through the process to get it back. So this has happened to me before, and I guess it was about to happen again this time. But again, I didn't have $300 for them to take. Maybe that's the solution. Don't have no money in there. They can't take it if it ain't
right. Listen, but they'll still attempt, right? And you don't want the overdraft fees, and you don't want to be responsible for paying it back if you don't respond in a timely manner. So there's some ways to prevent that that we'll talk about as well.
Okay. All right. Let's back up and get into the juicy stuff in a little bit. But I always say this every time I have a guest, but I feel like it's true. I don't believe in mistakes or coincidences. I think things happen on purpose, and that people come into our lives to show us, right? Help us, lead us, guide us. Even if they don't have an answer, to literally turn the flashlight on and be like, girl, I don't know, but go that way. I have a feeling that's the way to go over there. And do you remember how we met?
I do. We were at the Spirit of the Heart workshop, or more of a event, where it was hosted by the Association of Black Cardiologists in Orange County. And it was a great, again, being in the public health arena, it was a great opportunity for me to connect. You were one of the people that I connected with, and Dr. Shelly Henderson was there. So it was a great opportunity to connect, but just spread awareness to the emerging issues that are happening in public health.
Absolutely. And I think I was on the panel. Shelly invited me, and yes, shout out to her. I met Shelly through LawPi, which is the Los Angeles African American Women's Public Policy Institute. And one thing I will say about Shelly, I'll have to make sure I tag her on this so she can see it later. She's gonna bring you with her, like whatever she's doing. If there's a way to, hey, I need you to come along, she's going to do that. And so I really appreciate her. She is also another person. I'm gonna turn that flashlight on for you. I'm gonna figure out how to get you in the fold. Really appreciate that from her. So and again, I don't know. Going back to me believing there's no accidents, you sat at the same table. I don't know if that was intentional. You just sat there and we would start talking.
Yes, Shelly, give it back to Shelly, because she placed me there. She said, I want you to sit here. So it gave us an opportunity to connect and really find out that we're interested. We're both in the same line of field, right? So it just really helped me to connect with you and get a lot of the resources that you have knowledge on in the time that I was completing school.
Yes. And one thing I always love is a fellow public health person, someone that understands the importance of prevention and importance of health equity, social
Mhm.
justice. Like, I don't have to be like, oh, does she understand what I'm saying? Of course you do, right? We can just have this conversation, right? And not have to, well, let me explain. I don't have to do that. We get it.
Mhm.
All right, back to me and my drama and my bank fraud. And first of all, is that considered bank fraud? Is that what that is? What happened
It's
to me?
Yeah, it's fraudulent transactions that are attempting to clear your account, right? So there's different forms of fraudulent transactions. It can be with the debit card. It can be ACH, more of the check account information. So that's personally happened to me, and I didn't catch on until I would say like the third time, and it was like $200 here, $350 here. And when I tell you, me being in the industry for over 20 plus years, I monitor my accounts. I'm on my mother, watch your accounts, right? So for me to just go that period of time and not see that it happened, I was like, how did I get part of this? Like, how did I get this? I didn't catch it. But it happens. It's a prevalent issue that is occurring globally. It impacts all institutions, right? Not just one, all institutions.
So even the bank people, the 20-year bank professionals get got too?
It can happen because we're using our information as well. I'm using my debit card. I'm using my checking account information to pay bills online, right? So certain merchants' information can be stolen. So I can't trace. Oh, my account's never been touched, right? In the past 20 years. I can't say who had that information or how long. Our information gets compromised so many times. It's on these blacklists, and they just wait. They're not getting the information and using it tomorrow. They're picking the timing of when to use it.
See, now you know what? I'm ready to flip this table. So they don't get it. Okay, I'll just make up something. So, okay, this my debit card. This is a list of all the debit card there. So I got it. I'm just gonna hold on to it over here. I'm gonna do it right away. It's just gonna sit here until now. All right.
Yeah. Because cards expire every couple of years, right? So 3 years, 5 years. So they can hold on to it for that time frame, and just when it's time, when your card number comes up, they can probably try a smaller amount, right? Oh, you didn't catch this, so we're going to do another amount. You didn't catch that, right? So it's just being aware, but it goes back to the fact you got to keep a watch on your account. You have to set up notifications, right? So maybe you have a reoccurring transaction that's coming through. Set that up so okay, this came through this month. I know that clear. I have enough money for this, but also set notifications for transactions over a certain threshold, right?
Ah.
So if it does come over $200, I didn't authorize that because I know this is what my charges are. So that awareness.
Man. Oh, I didn't expect this to impact me. Like it is like, and I know we probably, from the consumer side, have no idea sort of the depth of all of this fraud. Like we just don't have no idea how big this is. And I think if we did, it would freak us out.
Mm-hmm.
But how does bank fraud impact the average consumer? Like, can you maybe even walk through like a fake, like, okay, Johnny goes to the store. Like, how do those things like happen? I don't like. I hear you the big picture, but like, how could that on an individual basis? How could that really like mess up stuff?
Yeah, so it can happen to where like the merchant information is stolen, right? Or inside information. I don't know if you saw like a couple of months ago, there was a social media post where a girl was in fast food and she was taking pictures of card numbers, right? This is just an example. So it is something as simple as somebody taking a picture and having your card number, and that can trigger and start the unauthorized transactions. But again, going back to there's certain things that are placed on ATMs called skimming devices, right? So if you're not mindful over the weekend, you stop at this random ATM, you use the card, you're not thinking anything of it, you get your money, You go about your business, but this card has captured all of your information that you just submitted through that ATM. So it happens, and it impacts, and it's an inconvenience to try to get those transactions disputed, right? So you got to be on the call with call center, take the dispute form, just like you mentioned, the lovely lady walked you through the transaction, but it's that inconvenience. You have meetings, you got things to do personally, right? So, and it takes time. What the average consumer doesn't really understand is that sometimes they expect, okay, I put this fraud claim in, you give me my money back today. No, there's some research that goes on behind that. So just imagine if those transactions would have cleared your account.
Yeah.
Right? You paid all your bills, and you're thinking that your bill's paid, and then this transaction comes through. So now you got overdraft fees, and you don't have any money for gas. And it could be that you have to pay daycare on Friday, and daycare doesn't care. They don't care about your account being overdraft. That's not their problem. They watched your child over the week, and they're expecting payment. So it's just so many different factors and layers that can inconvenience a consumer. But again, that awareness component could definitely help to be mindful of preventing those type of transactions from clearing.
Wow. Something else someone mentioned to me, I think that when the first time, I think in 2018, when it happened to me, the security guard at the bank, he said, sometimes these people walk around with these little devices, like you might be out and about. I take public transportation to work. And he said sometimes people have these readers. I guess maybe similar to the ones that are on the ATM machine. I'm not sure, but he said it's some kind of device that if your card is not in one of those special wallets that'll scramble it. I guess I'm just using words. I don't even really know if that's the right term, but it can somehow pull the information off your card that way. Is that another?
I've heard that. I'm not very familiar with that particular type of access to getting your information, but there are, again, features of not carrying your card, or we have, like, with the devices now, we can do that, the wallet on the iPhone. I don't know what it's called on the Android, but those are some measures that can help protect you. And I can say that using TAP is very beneficial. It helps to prevent fraud because it doesn't capture your card information. It masks a whole nother card number. So that is a convenient way to prevent fraud from occurring on the debit card aspect, because again, it doesn't give that full information. So I would suggest to consumers to use TAP or a credit card with rewards, because you want to get your money back. But the credit card wouldn't majorly inconvenience things like your mortgage being paid, your car note being paid, utilities, that way that the credit card company can really work behind the scenes to dispute those transactions for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think my daughter uses Google Pay. It's called. And she's like, Mom, you need to get out, whatever you're doing, you need to get off of this, whatever, and use, because I also have, like you said, an Android. I guess it's Google Pay to do my transactions. But then I'm like, but if somebody steal my phone,
make sure you have the security features on your phone. So again, social media, people you ask someone, can you take my picture using my phone? And here they are going into your Cash App or your Zelle to try to transfer money real quick. So setting up features that will prevent that, even if your phone is lost, then, it's an extra layer of authenticity to really verify that transaction.
Speaking of Cash App, I don't know if you know, or not even just Cash App or Venmo, but those apps, what should we be thinking about with that? Because now that you mentioned that, I'm like, wait.
Yes. So know who you're sending money to. Okay. So know who you're sending money to, and just know, because you've signed on to those applications, your bank is not necessarily 100% responsible for those transactions. Some institutions don't primarily have agreements with those vendors. So you want to be mindful of that, right? Because if they don't have a relationship, it's something that you authorize, you're sending the money to that merchant, right? So and I've seen, Nicole, fraudsters, people buying stadium tickets. They want to go to the game. They send the money. They say they never got it. They say they send another amount. They say they never got it. never got it. Send another amount. So they've gotten them 3 times for that money, and we can't dispute it, right? Because that's you initiated that transaction through the app. So just be mindful, right? They're convenient services, right?
Yeah.
But just be mindful of what you're using and the backup support you have should there be a fraudulent transaction. Because again, you're just putting your bank card information in, so that doesn't make your bank responsible. But again, some banks have relationships with certain applications and vendors that they back and support those fraudulent transactions.
Wow. Very good point about responsibility, like you said, because ultimately it could be, well, the bank could be like, well, you clicked the button.
Yeah.
You didn't click the button, you clicked it. You gave authorization. Yeah. So that's on you. And that actually has happened. See, I got stored. Now that you're talking to me, I'm bringing up like nightmares. This one wasn't that bad, but someone put a wrong, they were trying to send me money and they typed in the name wrong and it went somewhere else. But the person was actually nice and reversed and gave it back to her, but she wasn't paying attention. She sent it again. And I guess whoever it was like, well, hey, if you send it to me twice, baby, it's mine. So long story short, I didn't get paid from the t-shirt that I had sold the girl. But I was like, you know what? In that case, sometimes in life, it's like if something gets taken from you, it's okay. It's going to come back tenfold. And it did. Like I literally came home that same day with a check was in the mail for like double the amount. I forgot who it was from, but I was like, well, I'm good. My shirt got paid for anyway. So, but still, you're right, especially with these apps. Oh, I'm just going to send this money to such and such. You got to know who you're sending it to. Double check, triple check. Is this you? You know, call the person. Because once it's gone, in many cases, it's gone. And that's some scary stuff, man. Well, I think we should probably take a commercial break and then we come back and talk about prevention because you know we are public health people also.
Yes.
All right, commercial break.
In a world filled with diversity, where radical faith and progressive believers come together, there's a place that's breaking all boundaries and embracing believers from all walks of life. Bullet and Flight Radio, where believers unite, boundaries break, and love triumphs. Step away from the chaos and noise of your daily life. Experience moments for yourself that are calm, serene, and full of peace. A necessary respite to foster growth within you, because self-care should be luxurious. Lux and Noir.
Okay, so we've talked about a few types of fraud already. Sort of like the maybe I guess I'll call it point of sale. You're in the store type thing. Somebody could actually literally be like, "Oh, I'm gonna take a picture of this card right quick," or something's happening where interception in some way.
Yes,
you talked a little bit about check fraud. Someone told me that they were waiting for an insurance payout. Whatever happened, she didn't get into detail about that, but she was expecting a check from an insurance company. Check never came. Long story short, somebody had intercepted that check. She said whiteout. I'm sure it was some other kind of thing where they took her name off and put their name on, and honey signed it, deposited it, mobile deposit, and it was gone.
Yeah.
So there's another way. Is there any other types of fraud that we should be mindful of? And we talked about the apps, of course. Mindful of that. Is there anything else we should be really thinking about, especially too, like going into the holiday season, and what should we be worried about?
Great question. So just to touch on not only just insurance checks, a lot of people still get their tax return checks mailed out, right? People just file their taxes. I do direct deposit. It's convenient for me, but a lot of people still do. And, you know, the fraudsters are preying on those people that get their checks in the mail. And it's a whirlwind of identity theft, and the fraud is stolen, and it takes time to retrieve those funds back. So that's happening. But as we approach the holiday season, there are a lot of scams, fraudulent transactions happening. And as you mentioned, you got a text message. So phishing is one of the things that are happening, where they'll send you a text message hoping you click on that link, right? And it'll take them to the website. It looks like your bank's information. You're putting that personal information in, and it's an account takeover at that point, right? One thing that I want to mention is when you get those text messages and notifications, look at the number sending it, right? Sometimes it's like a local number, local zip code. And I'm like, my bank does not have this local zip code number. That's one indication, but sometimes people don't even pay attention to that, right? So know the text messages that you're receiving. Don't click on the links. If you have any questions, call your institution directly. You can go on their website. You can go on the app. It'll take you directly to their phone number through the call center. Another thing is sometimes they're doing random phone calls, and our elders are more prone to pick up the phone, give them this information, right? So that's the elderly population is very prevalent of getting this type of fraud or having this fraud occur on their accounts. So just being aware that if someone calls you, they're never going to ask you for your social security number. They're never going to ask you for your date of birth, your account number. So be aware of what they're asking. And if you don't feel comfortable, hang up. Don't call that number back. Call the institution back and verify if they're needing this information. They'll have it. Why would they need to ask you for it over the phone, right? So other scams that are happening are romance scams. I know that we are all lonely. I'm single, but I'm not lonely. Okay. I'm not on these dating apps, looking for love, but some people are. Yes. And, they get tangled in these conversations with people. They're entertaining them. And 2 weeks later, they're asking for $40. And then next couple of weeks is $400 and then $4,000. And here you are sending your life savings to someone that you've never met in person, but you feel bad for them. So just being mindful of who you're sending money to, why, and is it really a necessity for them, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's a big thing to look out for the holiday season. It happens. Another one is online shopping. So we're getting these links and, these Facebook ads look very appealing, and you click on the ad and it's redirecting you somewhere else. But yet you want to purchase this. I'm guilty of late night shopping and putting in my information, but know who you're shopping with and making sure that the information is correct, because that you make yourself vulnerable by putting your personal information in on the websites as well. Another one is employment fraud. Where a lot of people are going on these sites and applying for jobs, and they're thinking that these people are calling them back for a job, but yet they're taking their personal information. So it's so many different layers of fraudulent transactions occurring.
Oh my gosh. And another one, we didn't touch on emails. I know I sometimes get emails. So it's text now. I think text to me is more new.
Yes.
But emails kind of always been that, hey, we're suspending your Netflix account, click this immediately, and it's always this. And I'm sure you'll touch on this too. There's always this urgency. You have to do this right now or else, you will never get on Netflix ever again. And it's like,
yes. You're right. So sometimes the logo is off, the spelling is off. Pay attention to the spelling, right? So they'll send, and I've had that happen to me where a friend of a friend's email came to me on a Sunday morning, and it was, hey, how you doing? Do you have a minute? And I'm like, yes. Is everything okay? Oh yeah, I need $300. And I'm like, wait a minute. You're right. But it's too soon in this conversation. And you have my phone number to text me. So just being aware of who's reaching out to you and why, and then go directly to the source. Hey, send a text message. Did you send me this message asking for $300?
Yep.
Right. So emails can, that emails are getting hacked. So just being aware of that. And you don't always have to reply back, but it goes back to the things that I brought up earlier, setting notifications on your accounts. And then also doing your due diligence of managing your accounts, right? And calling the institution if you have any questions. Those are things that will definitely help prevent that. And I know we talked a bit about like the public health. How does that roll into in this topic?
Yeah.
Right? I love public health. I love health education, but it intertwines with that financial literacy as well, right? So if you think about it, the population, low socioeconomic populations, if they have less access to or a lack of resources to health, they're going to have lack of resources to financial literacy and knowing how to manage. And they may be more prone to these fraudulent type of transactions.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. And it also can be issues of language if they are monolingual Spanish or Vietnamese, whatever other language, and may not be privy to, because there's plenty of information out there about how to protect yourself against these things. But if it's in English, or it's in a media format that they don't normally access, or they don't have the, a lot of folks like that have younger kids that are in school and they can translate or interpret. If that's not there for them, they may miss out and be really susceptible, to your point, a number of things. We've heard of healthcare fraud. Hey, I have a cure for COVID. It's $300, right? So that's a combination of a public health and a financial literacy issue right there. You're like, oh my gosh, oh, you have a cure for COVID? Great, because I need to go to work tomorrow. I can't miss work, because if I miss work, I'm not paid. All right, I'll find $300, and then somebody's out of $300.
Yeah.
And they don't know how to report that. They don't know how to do that. So you've just raised a whole nother level of like, what the heck?
Yeah. Just the awareness. But these conversations are not being had in these communities. So they're repeating the cycles and they're not confident in asking the questions. So we have to really, again, get this information out. It's a global issue. The public health crisis, and then the financial literacy crisis. We have teenagers coming out of high school and they don't even know how, checks are not prevalent right now, or they shouldn't be. Stop writing checks. You use your automated system. But, they don't touch bases on this. They don't touch bases on how to manage credit and how to balance your account and not spend beyond your means. They're not having these conversations. So it does help to have these conversations, but we need the support in getting it done. We can't do it by ourselves.
Absolutely. And I think even what you were talking about with employment fraud, young people also are susceptible to that. There was a public service announcement on one of the trains I was riding on. It was about warning young people about ads or social media posts about travel. Hey, free travel. And next thing you know, you're trafficked. You gone and nobody know where you at. So that's not necessarily financial in that sense, but it's still kind of along those same lines of being tricked in a way where if you're not savvy or no one has taught you, you're like, oh yeah, I want to go volunteer in another country or wherever for a month or so. Next thing you know, child, what happened to such and such? Girl, we don't even know.
Yeah. And right now we're seeing an increase of the younger population being used by these fraudsters. They're paying them to open these fraudulent accounts, right? And they don't know the repercussions that are going to come back to them, how this is going to impact them when they're ready to buy a car or ready to buy their first home or even getting a credit card. So these are all the implications that are happening to them. And then going back to the elder population. So there's so many populations that are vulnerable for these type of experiences, and just wanting to prevent those and provide awareness of how to monitor it, right? I'm not trying to scare straight you, but just give you that education to make an informed decision and being aware of it. Also putting travel notifications on your debit cards when you're traveling, because again, it helps the bank to know this is a transaction out of the area. So if Nicole is traveling to Texas, then we know to monitor these transactions. Right. But if you never set it or turn it off, then, and they're trying to give you a call and we're not picking up and we're not checking our accounts,
They gonna
There's
turn themselves off.
yeah, and then also too is that sometimes people are busy. We're very busy and we don't honestly have an opportunity to check our accounts daily, but don't let it go too long because it can impact you later on down the line. There's a time
Exactly.
frame of how long you can dispute a transaction, right? So you
Right.
don't want it to go beyond that time frame where you don't get your money back. We work hard for our money every day.
Absolutely. And if I'm gonna waste my money on something, it's gonna be my choice, my
My
choosing.
choice. Yes. Yes. Accessories and food, right? No, just
If
kidding.
I'm gonna spend $300 on something, I'm not gonna just give it away. Let me spend it on some food, you know.
Yes, some good
Oh
food.
yes,
Yeah.
these were
But
all good tips. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's just preventing this from happening and knowing how to protect yourself at the end of the
Yes.
day is the key, right? Just monitoring your accounts, setting up alerts, being aware. But like I said, if you don't feel comfortable and it's gonna be a major impact for your debit card, use the tap feature, it's secure, and then also credit cards, but just monitor the account.
Yeah, the woman on the bank at the bank that I spoke to, when I was like, "What's going on?" She's like, "I don't even use my debit card." She said, "Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I use my credit card, and then at the end of the month, I pay it off." So of
Yeah.
course that doesn't, if I do that, that's not gonna work for me because I'll be done bought everything. Ooh, so I'm like, can't do
Yeah.
that. But yeah, I'm actually kind of feeling that way too. Like maybe less pulling that card out, not so much anymore, really.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of scary how quickly it can happen. But you're right. I think one thing I'm gonna do, my bank does have a thing. They will call. And I'm, me, like I told you, I'm like, who this? And I'm just like, and they'll call back to back. I'm like, what's going on? I'm gonna save the number in my phone.
Yeah, and but what I can say too is now the fraudsters have gotten very savvy where
They can make the number look like a number.
yes. So I've had to educate my mom. I say, if you see this number come up, don't answer it. And if you do happen to answer it, don't give them any information. Take a minute, call the number that you know back, right? Don't just be so quick to give that information. But one more thing that I wanted to mention that for people to be aware of in the holiday season, know your surroundings. A lot of people are getting robbed at the ATM. If you have to go late at night, please be careful because so much is going on. So gas stations, right? ATMs, random ATMs, but then also if you need to withdraw large amounts of money, people are getting robbed in parking lots and on the way out. And you work hard for your money. This is your income. So if you need to get a cashier's check,
Yeah.
if you need to send a wire transfer, the funds are available right away. Know who you're sending it to. But to prevent your life, your hard-earned money, I'm just seeing so many reports on the news, experiences, personal experiences, and I want people to be safe out there. So if you need to withdraw large amounts of money, be discreet as possible about it because people are listening. People are desperate.
Yes. People, you desperate is the word right now, folks. I don't know if you saw somebody got a car accident on the freeway. Somebody hit another car and then they robbed the guy. I said, dang, what's going on? And I don't know, they could have known him and like,
Right.
we don't know, but that was wild. And of course, people was recording it. And so I'm looking at this footage like, what is really going on? So, yeah, I don't even carry cash. Sometimes can you have $1? No, I really don't.
Yeah. Yes. And, as women, we have to protect ourselves too, because taking a moment to look in our purse to get that dollar could cost us our life because of surroundings, taking our eyes off of it. Also, growing up, don't leave your purse in the basket. I shop at Trader Joe's, I shop at Sprouts, and a lot of people still leave their purse in the basket. And it's so easy to take your wallet, your social security cards, which we don't advise to put your cards in your wallet, but so many people carry their lives in their purse. Secure your items on you because people are friendly. When you get in the car, lock the door, right? don't put your purse. Like, these are things that we were taught, but not most people learn those lessons.
Yeah, you're right. Don't put because some people put their purse in the passenger seat. You're supposed to put it behind, because somebody could reach in there and grab it and it's gone. You're right about the shopping cart. Oh, I've seen people, but I just used the little seatbelt for the kids and they couldn't. No, baby, because they're gonna push that cart with your purse and out, they're gonna go.
Yes. There's so many videos circulating. This one lady got in front of this other lady's basket while they were getting fruit, and she had her hand here, but the other hand was going in her purse, taking her wallet. So it's happening. So again, people are desperate, holiday season. So just know how to protect yourself and your finances.
Excellent tips. And thank you so much for being here. We done got to the end of the show today, but I'm grateful for this. I'm going to take snippets of this and repost it because I think people need to hear about this, how to keep themselves safe. Some stuff, probably is common sense to some people, but we talked about this a minute ago. For some people, I shouldn't do that. No, you shouldn't. Don't do that. And now you got me tripping. You know why? Oh, Lord. Listen, my property tax, I have a house in Kentucky and, obviously I'm not flying down to go pay the taxes in person, but they send me a postcard and I said, okay, I'll just write the check and put it in the mail. Now I'm like, Lord, you ain't supposed to put no check in the mail, but I use one of those envelopes with the little thing and hopefully it's okay. I don't know.
Overnight it, right? That's an option. Or see if they have an online portal to make that payment and that you can monitor and control yourself. But there's several ways to prevent those type of interactions from happening, but we got to be safe out there.
Yeah. So we gonna pray that check get to Kentucky. I'm like, Lord, but to your point, now I'm gonna be watching every day. I'm gonna be like, what's going on?
Yes.
So we're getting some comments, great info. Thank you for the tips. So people are really appreciative. I don't know if you should probably do a course or something, or a book or something to help people with this.
I would love to. And like I said, intertwining it with public health, because again, there's so many relatable topics that our communities need to talk about and just prevent, right? There's a lot of health issues that are preventable, and just like fraud is preventable to an extreme, but just having the financial basics. So again, that intertwining both of the topics is something I'm passionate about.
Absolutely. And the reality is, I feel like everybody's been touched by this in one way or another. If it's not them personally, they know somebody. So it's definitely something that is top of mind for a lot of people because it's happened. And like you said, nobody wants to lose their money. But thank you so much for coming. We may have to have you come back. I don't know. We'll see, because I think there's a lot of opportunity to have further discussion on this. But thank you so much for being here. All right, folks, thank you for watching. You know where to find me. I'll be here next week, either, in person or, you'll just hear my voice because sometimes I just don't be in the mood for y'all to see me like that. But next week I'll be back. In the meantime, you can check me out on social media. I am on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube. I'm everywhere. Same handle for everything is Nicole D. Vick. Y'all know I got this fabulous, beautiful website that Pyro Media Network has, updated for me with all my little pictures and stuff. Look at me. www.NicoleDVick.com. And then I have books. Woo-woo. I have two. First one, Pushing Through, Finding the Light in Every Lesson. Second one, Push Through, 52 Weeks of Light in Tough Times. Pick them up. You can get them off my website, or if you really like Amazon, a lot of people do, you can get it from there too. All right, y'all. See you next week. Thank you, Shantel.
Thank you.
Bye.